I will not speak about nuclear energy. I was questioned about natural resources which are essential for capturing energies, whatever they are, carbon, uranium, or renewable energy. And I decided that my framework of today will be renewable energies and uranium and thorium. Fossil energies are captured and transported via steel-made all-well, all-gas and pipe offshore platform. That is to say, iron ore, coke coal, chromium, nickel, etc. Equally, coal and uranium mining use the same commodities in various steel shape, truck, underground loaders, excavators. More steel, concrete and plenty of other metals will transform their resources into electricity via refining process and power plants. There is no shortage of this iron ore, copper, aluminum, chromium, nickel. The mining side of the mining side of the energy supply chain has gone through several crises already, and it is proven solid despite certain volatility in prices. Capturing the force of wind and sun by metal and mineral follow the same metal and mining supply chain modeling. Silver, a precious metal, is used for concentrating solar heat. Silicon, rare earths, cadmium, and thin film are centerpiece in photovoltaic industries. As far as windmill is concerned, so far two philosophies are on the market. One is capturing wind forces with few rare earths and a gearbox, while another model is based on direct drive technology using substantial quantity of rare earths made permanent magnets. Expanding offshore wind farm may bring more dependencies on their strategic metals. Let us take them one by one. Silver is not in short supply, but prices are highly speculative and move in sympathy with gold. There is no shortage of silicon. Nowadays, silicon prices are depressed. High purity material could become a question. Silicon technology is moving fast towards maturity, and time will tell how it will reorganize itself, facing the rising market share of thin film technologies. Metal for thin film technologies are often byproducts of other metals, and the technical and economic justification of their production can be difficult to prove on the long term, except if prices remain high for a very long time. Cadmium is also a byproduct, mainly for zinc mining. The temporary scarcity of rare earths is a concern. Bringing new mines out of the ground takes time. Processes are not simple. The first conclusion is fossil and uranium extraction have known dependencies on metal, steel, and accepting wind and sun competitive renewable energy means accepting new dependencies on strategic metals, and themselves sometimes are dependent on other base metal production. On the strategic metal consumption side, new demands appear to be based not on a slow contagion like steel in the last 100 years, but rather a disturbing epidemic. Should they continue to be demanded en masse, we might be moving from an oil crisis 38 years ago to a strategic metal crisis for three main reasons. First reason, one green renewable energy economic model was partially based on small and medium rare earths companies polluting villages and countryside in China. From a mining perspective, one cannot blame local authority decision to consolidate and regulate this production, even if controlling the majority of world rare earth material, it creates worries and price volatility abroad. Second reason, different industries are in competition with each other to consume strategic metals. Shall we have to make a choice between producing zero-emission electric cars, high-efficient light-in phosphor, smartphone, OLED TV screen, solar panel or windmill? Will research and development be quick enough to decrease the per unit amount of strategic metal, or should we question the production of all of them? if strategic material price transform most of them into luxury products. As far as recycling is concerned, the less quantity on a substrate, the more costly to recycle. And I do not want to talk here about the third musketeer of green energy material, which is the energy storage lithium. The third reason is the relationship between commodities producing nations and consuming nations. They are no more market relations, but sovereignties relations. Commodities producing nations are sovereign over a ground or an underground and exert strategy of power. Nowadays, this is so-called resource nationalism. Commodity-consuming countries are sovereign over an industry, over the development of entire industrial sector, and exert leadership strategies. In the future, more producing countries will keep at home their natural resource production for local consumption and not exporting them. For those of you who have the privilege to read in French, I illustrate this idea in an article provocatively titled "Once the African consumer will be waking up, China will tremble." Unknown dependencies are already here today, and it will be interesting to follow how they will be solved. We have just passed 7 billion on Earth, and due to the above supply-side question, the energy mix might need to include 2 impurities found, among other things, in some rare earth deposit, uranium and thorium. Thanks to Mr. Rubia and scientific colleagues in India, Russia, China and France, a thorium segment of the energy mix distinct from uranium segment is a possibility. But I can receive today from a broker in Geneva, Paris or New York a price of uranium quoted over the counter, quoted on the New York NYMEX free market or on a long-term contract. But I cannot get a serious price for thorium on a free market. I can buy shares of an uranium miner or a uranium junior company on the Toronto or Sydney Stock Exchange, but I cannot do that for thorium because there is no miners. I can buy shares of an uranium-based electricity producer, but there is non-thorium-based electricity producer. In the future, looking for a thorium price will maybe be as irrelevant as looking for a thorium miner, because if a thorium segment goes ahead, I understand from the presentation of today that the quantity needed will be as low as uranium quantity consumed in the next nuclear reactor generation. In theory, much less than now. Therefore, because of abundance of both uranium and thorium, as far as the supply side is concerned, it could be very limited interest to invest into both uranium and thorium production in 50 years. Let us say prudently that thorium is still in infancy, and if I may simplify, nuclear energy of today is the 25 years ago computer equipped with a floppy disk. But in the future, it could be the equivalent of a laptop with flash memory and cloud computing. The future of atomic energy is in atomic energy itself. After 7 billion, we will soon be 10 billion on Earth with an equal desire to have access to a comfortable electric energy, but we cannot yet produce it with natural resources coming from another planet. Therefore, binary hypotheses with or without renewable energy, with or without nuclear energy, with or without fossil energy are not responding to our next demography. The concept of a universal energy paradigm doesn't work with so much different natural resources dependencies. It is multilateral solution, not unilateral. Renewable energy are definitely a part of the solution. However, they have to succeed in geothermic, biogas, wind and sun with sustainability, efficiency and competitiveness. Adjustment will be needed as empirical meteorological models are probably not appropriated when the climate is started to change. Nuclear energy is a part of the solution. It is a social and federative energy because urbanized and rural population receive the same permanent, abundant and competitive electricity. As I said earlier, the future of nuclear energy is most probably in nuclear energy itself. Finally, state women and state men are choosing electricity, metal and food independence or dependencies of their respective country when creating three paradigms: agriculture, mining and energy. In doing so, they give a common corpus to the concept of nation for both populations decentralized in local community and megalopolis. Saint-Exupéry said, "La liberté, c'est choisir son maître. Freedom is choosing his commander. Being independent is to choose independencies without suffering. Choose your energy wisely." Thank you.